Welcome. Welcome to this special time. Welcome to this sacred space. Welcome to this Sabbath time. It's time to let go and to come apart a while. So we join together here at Unity Rochester. And we join together with churches everywhere, whether they're meeting in person or virtually, or just in people's hearts and their homes. We also join with people in mosques and synagogues and sacred circles. And today in particular, we join with people that practice nature spirituality. That's why I have a wolf today and an owl. This week, Wiccans, pagans have been celebrating Beltane, which goes back as a traditional holiday, one of the cross-quarter days between the solstice and the whatever that other astronomical thing is called. Goes all the way back to Roman times of the celebration of the goddess Flora, which marks the beginning of summer, the blooming. And so it is certainly happening here. And so let's be available to grow, to blossom, and bloom ourselves. The celebration of Beltane has a lot of dancing and carousing and wild parties. The little contained, the conservative version of it was dancing around the maypole, but we're not going to do that today. Today we're talking about rest. Rest. This is the second Sunday in a series based on the book Sabbath by Wayne Muller. Today, rest. Sabbath book is an antidote to the chronic and dysfunctional and unhealthy busyness of Western civilization. One of the strangest examples of that attitude of keep busy is a billboard that I saw in Denver for 24-hour fitness. And in big letters, it said, "You can rest when you're dead." It's like, I wonder how effective that was at getting people to sign up to be part of that fitness program. That's strange, because if we don't rest, we get sick. If we don't rest, we get injured. If we don't rest, we end up in an early death. Rest is essential. It's an essential part of the creative process. It's an essential part of being. The creation story in the beginning of the Bible, in the first chapter of Genesis, has 7 days of creation. And God did different things on each day. Now, that's an old story, and it points to certain principles. And one of the principles is rest is essential. On the seventh day, God rested. When I was a kid, I thought that was because God was tired after working for 6 days. And you had to relax and renew yourself after 6 days of work. No. The seventh day was rest because stopping is necessary. A fertile stillness. You need quietness in order for things to come together and for things to begin to emerge. So on the seventh day, God created rest, quietness. God created sleep, renewal. didn't stop working. It's a different kind of work. And that's the kind of work that we're talking about here. About having a holy time. About having a Sabbath time. A time of spiritual practices that leads us into that fertile stillness. A quiet time of renewal. There's a phrase in both the Hebrew and the Christian Testaments. Come to me and I will give you rest. Come to me. The Spirit of love and oneness invites us, calls us to come into that presence. And in that presence, we will experience rest and renewal. Now, we might call it getting still. We might call it getting centered. Here's a poetic perspective from T.S. Eliot. At the still point of the turning world, neither from nor towards, at the still point, there the dance is. Except for the point, the still point, there would be no dance, and there is only the dance. That's a lot like the Buddhist and Taoist teachings about emptiness, spaciousness at the center, how essential that is. We need stillness, we need rest, we need holiness. We need that center point, still point, as an available place and practice and skill for ourselves. So how do we do that? We've all done it. We've all experienced that still point, that centeredness. We've all experienced that holiness. Sometimes we don't remember it. It's important to remember it. Remember the holy. Remember the sacred experiences, the insights. And it moves us into that still place. Remember the particular prayers or songs or places where you feel you can let go. You can be radically open and receptive. Sometimes it's good to have some touchstones, some props to be able to take whatever's going on in our lives and turn it over to God, to let go and let ourselves be. Let go and let God. Maybe some special jewelry or stones. I had an experience with an owl that told me to fly fearlessly through the night when I was afraid. I remember this. I have a shawl that I put on, that I got whenever on a trip to India, that I put on whenever I meditate. When I put it on, so you might have a sarape or shawl or something that you use whenever you meditate. Be like having a rug that you unroll on the floor before you get down and pray 5 times a day in Islam. It's a way to come into the presence. It's a way to get still and to approach that center. Now we know this. We know this. But there's still some, and maybe still part of ourselves, that doesn't quite follow through on what we know. I started studying yoga in 1973. That was a little while ago. And I taught it for a long time, and part of a yoga teaching and part of a yoga class is the relaxation at the end. And I remember the first time I went to a yoga class and had that relaxation, it was like, wow, what was that? I really liked that. It got me interested in doing the postures, but in following through to what comes after that relaxation. And what comes after that is meditation. And and my path unfolded before me. I taught yoga at Unity Village when I was in ministerial school there, and there were some ministerial students who would come to the yoga class as well. One of them was very busy, very productive, and left when the exercises were over. When it was time for the relaxation, she would get up and leave because she was too busy to lie there and relax for 10 minutes. Made me wonder. It's like, boy, this was the most important thing to me. And it reminded me of a man who came to my yoga class for the first time. And he was doing the postures and all, and I was doing a final relaxation at the end. And part of that relaxation was a guided visualization where I had them imagine lying on the beach and wiggling down into the sand, and with the feet towards the water, and the tide comes in. The tide comes in and erases your feet, smooths out the beach where your feet used to be, and it comes in and erases your legs and erases your trunk and your hands and your shoulders, and the tide comes in and washes over your face, and then there's only smooth sand where your body used to be. And this guy jumped right up, sat right up. And he said, I thought I died. I thought, that's interesting. That's interesting. There's real discomfort with some in disconnecting with our physical being. So erasing body awareness created some anxiety for him. Wayne Muller points out in his book that there are people that are afraid of rest, because when you rest, when you let go, when you surrender, you're vulnerable to the stuff that's going on inside. You're vulnerable to the things that you don't want to look at or you may not want to show other people. We're guarded. Protecting ourselves from whatever is really part of ourselves, but we're not ready to look at or deal with. When we guard ourselves from rest, when we feel nervous about rest, it's hard to go to sleep. You know, insomnia is rampant in our culture. There's an awful lot of money spent on sleep aids. I could never understand why there are so many mattress stores around. You know, I'm sleeping on the same mattress that I've been on for a long time. I don't have any trouble sleeping. But some people trade mattresses in all the time, thinking that a new mattress is going to help them sleep better. Well, I don't know if that works. I know something else that works, is to get quiet and get centered. And this is something that I do when I wake up in the middle of the night. And I do wake up at 3:15 in the morning pretty often. And I know some other people to do. Some it's 2:30, and with others it's 4 o'clock or whatever. It's like, why am I awake? There's a story in the Hebrew Testament in 1 Samuel chapter 3. Samuel was a young man who was working with an old priest named Eli. Samuel went on to be one of the great prophets of Israel. And this is whenever he was just becoming introduced to a deep connection with Spirit. So he was there to help out old Eli. So Samuel heard his name called in the middle of the night. Samuel. He woke up. He went, "Yes, sir." He went to Eli. "Yes, sir. What can I do for you?" And Eli said, "What? I didn't call you." Samuel said, "Oh." Went back to bed, went back to sleep. Then again he heard his name, "Samuel." He got up, went to see Eli and said, "Yes, sir. You called. What can I do for you?" He said, "I didn't call you, boy. What are you doing? Go back to sleep." So he did. Third time, "Samuel." He got up. "Okay, I'll go see Eli again." He went in to see Eli. By this time, Eli was awake, and he said, "There's something going on here. The Lord is calling you. You're being called by the presence of God. And so the next time you hear that call, say, 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" There are some powerful words there. "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." Samuel went back to bed. He heard his name called the fourth time. He said, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." And I don't know if the word started with, "It's about time," but he got a whole lot of words that said what his mission was. So my suggestion, because I know that this works for me, when I'm tossing around and awake and I look at the clock and it's 3:15, it's too early to get up and I can't sleep, it's like I remember, oh yeah, I should practice what I preach. And so I sit up in bed, and this happens often enough that I've got a serape on my bed that I pull up and put around my shoulders 3 seasons of the year. And I say, "Okay, I'm listening. Speak, Lord. Your servant is listening." All right, let me have it. Show me what I need to see. Tell me what I need to hear. I don't know. I don't usually get a message. I don't usually see anything. But the process of listening calms down my mind, and I can go back to sleep. Sometimes a question that I've had gets answered. Sometimes some loose ends that have been flopping around get woven together into an orderly arrangement. But the listening works. And I'm able to go back to sleep. So if you have trouble sleeping, if you awaken in the middle of the night, say, "Speak, Lord. Your servant's listening." Or just in your own way say, "Here I am. I'm open and receptive. I'm available to guidance. I'm available for feedback. Let me have it." That helps. That's a conscious way of entering into rest. I'm going to share a simple conscious relaxation technique to help you prepare for sleep, to help you prepare for just rest and renewal after exercise, maybe. You know, athletes don't have any trouble knowing how important rest is, because they know that their body needs to be refreshed and renewed in some time. So this technique could be used in preparing for sleep, preparing for meditation, and entering the silence. This technique this relaxation time in what we would normally call our meditation part of the service is going to be posted on our YouTube channel as a standalone video. And so if you want to get back to it another time, you won't have to listen to this whole talk. You could find this on the meditation. Okay? So we're going to do a conscious relaxation for rest, renewal, to get ready for sleep, to prepare for meditation. This technique is based on the sensation of tensing and releasing, of tightening and softening. It gives us the experience of release, of letting go, of dropping into quietness, dropping into a place of being, a ground of being. So I'll lead you into a place of quietness through a progressive relaxation and some attention to the breath and emotions and thoughts. At that place of quietness, you could go to sleep. Stop the playback and go to sleep. Or at that place of quietness, you could use it as a way of entering into meditation. Push the pause button to extend that sense of silence as long as you like. In that silence, to focus on an affirmation or a prayer or whatever you use to enter into meditation. I'm going to suggest that in that quietness, there is only the light, even movement of your breath. And there's all of this stuff, the turning world, the spinning universe that goes on around us. And there at the center is a still point. And for me, that point is like a pole. It's like a horizontal, it's like a vertical movement in this horizontal universe. It's the spiritual dimension that is still, and the breath is just moving up and down that vertical axis. So that's what I'm going to suggest. Right now, I suggest that you move to a chair or even lie down on the floor. Wiggle around. Move around. There's a purpose for this. You want to check to see if there's any tension. Scan your body from the top of your head, your face, jaw, shoulders, hands, trunk, legs, feet. Now, squeeze your toes together. Tighten your toes up. Take a breath. Release them. Feel that release in your feet. Lift up one foot off the floor. Feel the weight of that leg. You might tighten that leg. Take a breath. Drop it. Do that with the other leg. Lift it up. Tighten it. Take a breath. Drop it. We drop with the exhalation. Make fists with both hands. Feel the tension there. Take a breath. Release. Tighten your arms. Tighten your arms. Do it. However you do that, take a breath. Let them go. Lift the shoulders up. Take a breath. Drop them. Pull the shoulders forward. Tighten your tummy. Pull your stomach in. Relax. Arch your back. Tighten the muscles in your back. And let go. Feel that sense of letting go. Now squeeze your eyelids shut. Tighten your jaw. Grind your teeth together. Take a breath. Release. Take a deep breath. Deep. Hold it. Drop it. Feel that sense of letting go. Do that once again. Deep breath. Drop it. Feel yourself dropping into the chair or into the floor. Think about emotional energy. Fear, doubt, shame, guilt, resentment, anger, confusion, depression, any of that stuff. Take a breath. Feel it tense, drop it. This is in the heart center. All of that emotional energy in the heart. Take a breath. Let it go. Let the love of God in your heart fill that space. Let all of those uncomfortable emotional energies drain away into the earth. And now the turning world of the mind. All of the thoughts and questions and memories spinning around. Imagine them being like a circle, the turning world or a spinning universe. All sorts of thoughts. They just go on all the time. In the center of that spin, like the eye of a hurricane, is a quiet place, a still point. Notice that activity of the mind swirling around. Take a breath. Exhale. Drop into center. Let's do that once again. Consider all of those thoughts. Notice them. Let them be. And with the next exhalation, we're going to withdraw from all of those things going on around into a center, vertical access where there is stillness. Take a breath. Exhale. Drop into the center. One more conscious, long breath. Full inhale, hold it. Drop. Let your whole being drop to fall completely, freely into the ground of being, dropping into right where you are. And your breath continues to move on its own. Your heart continues to beat on its own. All the systems in your body continue to work healthfully, automatically, on their own. Notice your breath. Don't control it. Just notice it. Let it move. Imagine that it's moving up and down on a vertical axis at a still center point in the midst of your mind, your emotions, your body, your relationships, your neighborhood, your country, your world. There's a still point where your breath is effortlessly moving. Pause now at that still point. Pause now. Enter into that deep quietness, into that fertile stillness, into the silence of pure being for rest and renewal and peace. And now to resume who we are and where we are. Bring awareness, consciousness back to your body-mind system with a sense of gratitude for the life energy that moves through us, for the heart energy, the love energy that connects us with each other and connects us with the universe in abundance, connecting with the energy of light, clarity of mind. Come up, either a sitting or a standing position. Feeling alive, whole, well, and free as God created you to be. Knowing that your name has been called, that there is a purpose for you. There is an assignment that you have said, here am I, send me. I'll do that. I'll take that job. That we have agreed to be conduits of infinite love and wisdom, to let love move through us in what we think, in what we say, in what we do, to let everything that we do in our lives be a gift that's given in support of all of creation, in support of family and friends, in support of our communities. We're grateful that that giving comes back to us multiplied as a surprising blessing of abundance. And we claim that. We celebrate that now with these words that are so important to so many of us. The prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is with us and all is well. Now, sing something to yourself. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.